Do you struggle to give clear, concise, confident responses in interviews? Find yourself rambling into or out of an answer, or even worse, doing both? Here's a suggestion on how you can structure your information in advance and think about your answers in order to build an arsenal of information that will help you answer any interview question, cover anything thrown at you, and nail your next interview. Let's take a page out of Public Speaking Book 101. If you go to the exact same keynote speech from the same speaker multiple times, you will likely notice that the delivery is not verbatim from instance to instance. This is because they work from an outline and they know the key takeaways they want their listeners to have during their speeches, but they don't memorize it. Let's take this methodology and apply it to interviewing. By thinking about your answers in structured bullet points, it gives you talking points to make sure your interviewers are getting key takeaways, but you're not coming at them with rehearsed responses. Think about preparing your responses in 3 talking points. Let's use tell me about yourself, that good old popular question that everyone hates, as an example. Instead of regurgitating your resume, which is a trap many people fall into, think about it like this. 1 sentence to summarize your experience, a sweeping statement that explains where you've come from, that leads to point 2, where you want to go. What are your current career goals, and how, point 3, does your experience plus those goals equal the reason you're sitting in that room or on that Zoom call having this interview? This is a huge opportunity to add more context and reinforce the reason you're applying for this position versus talking about your resume in a narrative form when they've got it sitting right in front of them. It kicks off the interview in an authentic and personal way and leads to a great line of questioning. This 3-point structure has kind of 2 different strategies that you deploy depending on the type of question. That first half of the interview is usually those soft questions like tell me about yourself. Once you move into that second half of the interview, it's often the storytelling component where you're describing anecdotes of your experience that overlap what they're looking for in the role. This is an opportunity to deploy the 3-point structure in a way that helps you A, summarize the backstory of the scenario without falling into the trap of going into way too much detail and a long explanation of something they don't need. Once you move on from that first point, you move into the second point of explaining your role or responsibilities within that scenario. And that's really the key, most important part of your storytelling around your experience. And then that all sets up to explain that third point, which is the outcome of the scenario. It's also great to keep you prepared and have clear thinking points that keep you on track going into an interview so that you're well prepared with an arsenal of information that helps you navigate an interview without trying to anticipate exactly every single question that they're going to ask you. So before you go into your next interview, whether it's an intro call with HR or recruiter or a more advanced interview with a hiring manager, sit and prepare responses to the most common interview questions and have a bank of stories prepared in this 3-point structure, and you will be more than prepared to nail that interview.